Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to talk about games you should play in 2023. I try to include only the games that have certain dates, but they can still always be postponed. And also, since we're already in April, I didn't want to include the games that have already been released in earlier months of 2023. Okay, let's start. Meet Your Maker. This game has already been released, but it's been less than a week, so I thought it should be on the list. We know Meet Your Maker's developers from Dead by Daylight. It's a game where you can build your own outpost and also go raid other players' outposts. You can play either solo or co-op with your friends. Cardboard Town is from a Turkish indie game studio. It has an interesting concept that mixes city building, card game and roguelike mechanics. With different events and upgrades, each one offers different experiences. Could be fun to give it a try. On the Steam page, it says the correct pronunciation is OTXO, so I'll try my best. At first glance, it looks like black and white Hotline Miami, but actually there are differences. OTXO offers fast-paced action with roguelike mechanics. We have a health bar, so it takes more than one hit to die and also kill the enemies. And it seems like there is less close combat action. We can say these are the biggest differences from the Hotline Miami. Also, with slow motion skill, we can deal with more enemies and difficult situations. The Last Case of Benedict Fox. It is an atmospheric low-crafty Metroidvania. When I first saw this game on Xbox events, the atmosphere of it was so tempting, and I think developers are aware that they have to do something different from other games of similar genre. Because lots of new indie games have a decentish art style and average game mechanics, and if they want a success with this game, they have to offer something original. According to the trailers we saw, combat parts are not bad either. I'm excited for this game, but we will wait and see how it's going to end up. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and probably one of the most awaited games of 2023. Even though EA was so sure that single-player story-based games don't sell well enough, Jedi Fallen Order proved them wrong. So fortunately we are getting the sequel soon. There were some things that needed to be improved from the last one, and it looks like we will have a more polished and enhanced game. There will be new lightsaber actions, wider maps and more things to discover. I hope it will be a smooth release, because after seeing AAA games having horrible releases, it is good to be cautious. The Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom. Probably the game of the year. I guess the best explanation for Tears of Kingdom is everything Breath of the Wild was and more. There are new mechanics, skills and of course thousands of things to discover. Breath of the Wild is a must-try experience and I believe it will be same for Tears of Kingdom. For some people, maybe the name of System Shock doesn't mean anything, but for one generation, that name brings lots of memories with it. System Shock inspired many games like Bioshock, Deus Ex, Prey and Dead Space. I'm saying all of this because I want to make it clear why System Shock is a big deal. The original game was released in 1994 and now we are getting a remake of it. If any of the games I just mentioned impressed you, you should try System Shock. Also, if you pre-order the game, you can receive System Shock 2 Enhanced Edition for free once it's released. But I never recommend pre-orders, so it is up to you. I've never been a huge Diablo fan, but Diablo 4 can easily tempt new players, and at least that's what happened to me. It seems easy to spend hundreds of hours in the game, and looks like veteran Diablo players are hyped for it too. And I guess this time Blizzard managed to make everyone happy, but we will be sure when the game will be released. Also, if you don't know what to expect from Diablo 4, as someone who tried the open beta, I can say it's a unique action RPG experience in a well-detailed world with well-thought-out content. Also, an extra detail, if you're following the news in game industry, you probably already know that Microsoft wants to buy Activision Blizzard, and Blizzard is the owner of the Diablo franchise. Sony doesn't want Microsoft to buy Activision Blizzard, so there are ongoing lawsuits. We can go deeper on that topic in another video, but point I want to make is, if Microsoft wins against Sony, Diablo and Call of Duty franchises might be available on Xbox Game Pass. Recently, the GM of Diablo franchise, Rod Ferguson, tweeted, "They don't have any plans to bring Diablo to Game Pass." But I don't see this as the end of the discussion. In fact, it would be weird if you would say, yes, Diablo will be on Game Pass, because that would make Microsoft's job harder. Also, game industry is full of surprises and I believe that plans can easily change. Anyway, the reason I'm telling these things is, if you're not sure about paying the full price for Diablo 4, and if you don't feel like you must play it on day one, then there's a good chance that you can play it for a lot cheaper on Xbox Game Pass later. I am both hyped and cautious about Starfield because it's from Bethesda. There are many interesting features and RPG elements in the game. Bethesda said the number of dialogue lines in Starfield will be more than double of Fallout 4. And Todd Howard said Starfield was inspired by Traveler, an RPG published in 1977. These things make me more invested in the game, but also there are some other things revealed by Bethesda, such as there will be more than 1,000 planets in Starfield. Well, you might think it doesn't sound bad at all. In fact, it means there will be lots of places to discover. But whenever these kinds of numbers are too high, it also means there can be less details and just empty, unnecessary places you might have to visit. So these kinds of numbers work in the opposite way for me. Also, as I said, this is a Bethesda game, so we all should expect lots of bugs and errors. Nevertheless, if Bethesda can do a decent job, we might play Starfield for tens of years like we play Skyrim. And one small bit of info, you can play the game on Xbox Game Pass on day one. There are many games I want to play this year and I am hyped for most of them, but Baldur's Gate 3 is the game I'll waste many hours of my life in. If you don't know about the developers, you might remember them from Divinity Original Sin 2, which is an RPG masterpiece for me. Baldur's Gate 3 is on early access currently, so you can play the game, but the full release will be in summer. Baldur's Gate is an RPG with an isometric camera angle and turn-based combat. It is set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and you can either play solo or co-op with your friends. One of the interesting games of this year, Lies of P, is an action Souls-like game. We place Pinocchio in a city called Krat, which is inspired by the late 19th century to the early 20th century of Europe. As developers say, it is the story of Pinocchio but reimagined with a darker setting, and Pinocchio desperately fights to become human against all odds. We can change the body parts of Pinocchio for different combos and other features, which can break the repetitiveness if they can offer us a good amount of variety. The game is expected to be released in August, but we don't have the exact date yet. Since it's a game with an interesting concept, I wanted to mention it, and let's hope we will have it in August without any major bugs. There are more games you can expect to release in 2023, such as Armored Core 6, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, Banishes, Spider-Man 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, but I either expect them to be postponed or we don't even have a proper date yet. But if the situations change, we can always talk about them in a new video. Which games do you want to play this year? Or is there any game you're looking forward to play that I missed in the video? Let me know in the comments, leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and see you in the next video.